back, everyone. And in this month, we're talking about client billing and how important it is in a law firm. So, in this fast paced world of a legal practice that you all live in, accurate client billing isn't just about getting paid, it's pretty much the cornerstone of your financial health, professionalism, and your client relationships. We never want to damage those client relationships because most clients, if you ask them, where do you get your leads from? It's referral based. That's what we're talking about. So, today we're going to explore those common challenges and really look at the key components of effective billing. We're going to look at best practices for firms for time tracking and invoicing and the right software choices. So, I'm going to include in that what many firms trust, which is Clio. And I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not asked to speak about them in that way. I just know from personal experience, hands down, best software for legal tech. I'm going to give you some tips on transparency, how to handle some disputes with clients, which unfortunately, sadly happens, and also on some compliance things. Let me help you streamline your processes for better accuracy and stronger client connections. So, effective billing ensures a steady cash flow and reinforces your professionalism and your client trust. And I can tell you that if you ever worked with a firm that has constant people calling saying, I think I'm being overcharged, it's not a fun place to be. So if you have it arranged, and a lot of it starts with the first communication with your client, the agreement that you have with your client. But if you have transparent invoicing, it will show your value, your reliability, where any errors or delays can cause dissatisfaction with your clients and also lost business, because, like I said, referral based. But legal billing has its own set of unique challenges. It can come from just as simple as inaccurate timekeeping, maybe from juggling cases, from complex billing codes, if you had to live in the world of billing codes or leads billing, or maybe even just the rates, whether you do a flat rate, an hourly rate, a contingency rate. And there's also strict compliance and ethical rules you need to follow. So any mistakes here can lead to revenue loss or disputes, write downs, write offs, or even penalties. So we want to avoid all of those things. So great billing rests on three pillars. And we'll just repeat this. So it's first is accurate time tracking, diligent recording of every billable hour for fair compensation and transparency. We have to remember that the first and most important pillar, I think the most important pillar, is accurate time tracking. And if you're tracking it using like Harvest or one of those other little apps that are maybe free, it always stands to fail. You really want to have a system in place where the time tracking is very focused. The second item is precise and detailed invoicing. So there's no client getting a bill going, what is this? They've worked all these hours. What do they work on? You want to have it broken down by tasks, time spent, and then the charges are clearly and proactively put on the bill in a professional format and they're sent promptly. So nothing's more irritating that they don't bill you, and then you get this giant bill. You want to avoid that at all costs. The third one is open communication with your clients. And that also includes staying in touch with how much money is in their trust account, even if there was no activity, and setting some clear policies up front to provide your clients updates and address any concerns to manage client expectations and to build that very important trust with your clients. So to nail time tracking, you want to use specialized legal tech software for automatic capture of that time, integrations that work with your accounting software like Clio and Zero, and then also having some reports to check on it to make sure you minimize any errors. You want to make daily and real-time entries a habit. You want your entire team making daily entries a habit. The longer you wait or you write it and scribble on a post-it note, the more inaccuracies creep in. So dedicate a time each day to log in your hours or do it as you do the tasks. Log into that file and provide firm-wide training on policies and the tools. So if your team doesn't know how to use the tools properly, that's going to be a barrier. So make sure you address that any issues with them and make sure you boost adoption, have regular sessions to discuss how to work in the software, to teach them. These steps are going to improve accuracy, profitability, and productivity insights. So you're going to be able to have all of that if you take the time to learn the software and use it to its full extent. We see a lot of firms that come by us that they don't even know how to use the software. They just picked it up on the fly. So you want to pick the right software. It's always a challenge. There's so many software out there, there's thousands of them. You want to prioritize seamless integration. So don't let it sit in a silo over here on the side. You want to have a software that integrates with your accounting software, whether it's QuickBooks or Xero. And you want to drive the adoption of this software to streamline and document workflows. You want to ensure that the software that you select is user friendly. You want to test it before you pick it. Look for the essentials, look for the time tracking, look for the invoicing, look for the payments, and look for the compliance tools. Those are important, those portals where you can exchange documents without them being emailed back and forth. You want to, in this day and age of security, you really want to make sure that the communication stays tightly held in this little space. So transparency is going to build trust. You want to share policies early and send detailed and finalized invoices and communicate openly with your client. I think that's the best way to do it when you're working with your clients themselves. If there's a dispute, don't let it fester. Listen empathetically, listen and then review it for errors and explain everything to them clearly if they don't understand and make any corrections as needed. If you have a tougher case, you might want to consider mediation if it's something that's just not working out between the attorney at your firm and the client. And then I think that's the best way to handle it when it gets to that level because you want professional handling. It's going to help preserve any relationship that you have with the client already. And like I said, those relationships equal referrals. You want to streamline with automation using tools like Clio or Lean Law to handle tracking invoices and reminders. You want to standardize firm-wide procedures and encourage collaboration through meetings and audits and team meetings. Always prioritize compliance and ethics over and above anything else. Follow your bar rules, bill fairly, train regularly, and audit everyone's procedures randomly to avoid any issues. This will protect your firm's reputation, which is really very critical. Mastering client billing enhances relationships, will help you build a bigger client base. It will help with revenue, and it will help with your law firm's success. Focus on accurate tracking, use the right tools like Clio, transparency, and ethical practices. If you do that, your firm is going to just skyrocket with more and more clients. So audit your current process, have an open meeting about it, train your team, explore the top software. If you're not in a Clio, you really want to look into that. And then subscribe to our channel to get more tips. These are things that will help you, and we've helped many firms with this process. And I can tell you very successfully. Make sure you're looking at that accounts receivable. Don't let that just slip under the rug. You want to make sure you're on top of that as well. I hope this is helpful, and we'll see you all next month. Bye now.